fat loss coach, nutritionist, author, a guy who actually cares. And I want to share some information with you that I believe can help you if you're already finding that you're gaining weight. I'm going to share information with you to help you not gain weight during the holidays. And I'm going to bring clarity to what it means when someone says um, consulting or consult someone in comparison to counseling someone. And then you have the third C, which is coaching someone. And once you understand the difference between consulting, coaching, and counseling, you can make a much better decision on what's going to work best for you. So that would be my goal. Now, if you're catching this for the first time, again, I'm Robert Ferguson, and please share, like, comment. If you got questions, post it. If I don't catch you live, then I can definitely catch you on the back end. Okay, so let's get into this. The first thing I want to share with you, as I put in the description, is that many people will find themselves losing the battle of the bulge during the holidays, even the most disciplined people. So, first and foremost, if that's happening to you or you're concerned about it, the timing of this message is going to, I hope, is going to be helpful. Now, before I dive into that part, I do bring clarity to what we mean by fat burning, because if you're not primarily burning fat, that means you're primarily burning carbs. And also, instead of saying carbs, let's say sugar. So you're either a fat burner, which is what we all want to be, or you're a sugar burner. And that's totally different from looking at your metabolism. I mean, studies, long-term studies have demonstrated, and this may be a shocker to some of you, that the metabolism doesn't slow. What happens is your total energy expenditure, how many total calories you burn throughout the day, that's what slows based on the science. We also know that if you are primarily a sugar burner, a carb burner, it's very difficult for you to drop body fat. And the goal is to get you to become a fat burner. And once you're a fat burner, then fat loss tends to happen much more effectively. And this also takes into account insulin resistance, glucose tolerance. It takes into consideration various medications that people are taking. It takes into consideration your age, your situation, all of that. So you want to be a fat burner and not a sugar burner. People who are sugar burners, in all of the studies, and there's some long-term studies on this, but when you're a sugar burner, that is a significant predictor on whether or not you're going to gain weight in the next 30 days, or if you're going to find yourself heavier a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, etc. Because you're a sugar burner. That we know that for sure. When you're a fat burner, those people, they're probably not weight. And here's the best news of all. There is a way of eating, and if you're familiar with the Diet Free Life methodology, or you're being coached by myself or one of our coaches, or you're becoming a coach, you know this. You know how to get a person to go from being a sugar burner to being a fat burner. And that does not mean you have to give up carbs. And when I say give up carbs, I'm including all real carbs, right? Everything from broccoli to bread, from pasta to zucchini. If it's plant-based, it's a carbohydrate. Okay, so it's important that we know that. Okay, so you now know that there's such thing as being a sugar burner or a fat burner. And now what do you do? Right? so it's intriguing. Okay, you got my attention, Robert. Now what? Well, let me preface by saying I'm not here to sell you on anything. When I share information, I share because I care. And I have a 20 plus year track record of caring. And that's why I share. So actually, it's way more than that. But specifically, if we're talking about weight loss, okay, I've been doing this since 1995, and I know this really well. And I wouldn't keep this to myself. The goal is to share with other people. So, in order for you to figure out what steps you want to take, or how I believe we could help you, it does help to understand the difference between the three C's, that is consulting, coaching, and counseling. Okay. So I'm going to switch that around, but let's start with consulting. When you hear someone say consulting, what comes to mind? If you want, you can type in the comments. I would love to hear what your thoughts are before I kind of share what consulting 1000% means. Well, in short, a consultant is someone who will look at the big picture, they'll look at the situation, they'll look at the problem, and after they have looked at everything, then they will come back to you and present what they believe could move you toward a solution. And you, let's say they consult you for a day, for an hour. When that session is over, everything is over. They give you everything they can at that moment, and then it's up to you to take it and to run with it. It's totally up to you. Okay, so when someone consults you, right, it's like someone coming to your house and they consult you and they look at your house and they go, I would paint this, I would add this kind of furniture, but they're not going to be with you next week to go get the furniture. They consult you. It's a one and done. You got the information. Now you can get consulted again. And I have clients that come to me that want consulting. And what happens is we schedule a day and a time, whether it's 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. And then we get on the phone. I find out as much as I can beforehand so we save time. And then I give them everything I believe will help them be successful at whatever that is. That's what a consultant does. And some of you would do very well if you were to contact us and say, I would like a one session. I would like I would like a consultation. And many times it's a free consultation, which doesn't take as much, which helps you better decide what's going to be best for you. And then there's a consultation where, again, we look at everything, find out your likes, your dislikes, what you're wanting to achieve, what you have access to, what you're willing to do, and we consult you and then buy. So I believe we all get that, right? We consulting is simple and it's easy. And when you're being coached, which some of you who are clients of mine or other coaches, you're going to see power in that. Now, there's power in consulting, but you have to be the kind of person that can just take in the information and then you say buy and then you apply. You go and you do it. You get the work done. You get the work done. Now, when you think of, let's go to counseling now. When you think of counseling, like therapy, that's an interesting space. And I've spent a lot of time in that space with education as well as experience. When it's counseling, counseling is based on the Socratic method, Socrates. And it's based primarily on having a good counselor who's great at listening and knows how to ask questions in a way that will lead you to discovering the answer, because they won't give it to you. And once you discover it, which we do know is 1,000 times more powerful than what someone tells you, once you discover it, then you're off and running. Right? So it's a solution, but it could take a really long time. So when you hear people saying they've been in counseling for 20 years, for 30 years, for 10 years, many years, whether it's marriage counseling, kids getting counseling, it's all based on giving people an opportunity to vent, to share their thoughts, and have someone who is non-biased listen and come back with questions that will help you figure out what's going to be the best move for you to move forward. In my space and what I do with weight loss and health and gut microbiome and all that, we don't take a counseling approach. We do offer consulting, but we don't take a counseling approach. But counseling could be the very thing that can help you break free of whatever is possibly holding you down or interfering with your ability to move forward and thrive. Okay, so you now know what consulting really means and what being consulted, how it can help you if you're that kind of person that's self-motivated, big time, and all you want is someone to say, hey, 1, 2, 3, and then you go and do it. Counseling is one of those things where you go in. It's not about getting it done next week. You're not looking for direct direction. You go in and then you get to spend time, you vent. And I know counseling has been great for me. I really value counseling. When I would go to counseling, I am a better father because I speak out loud and I just walk away. When I leave, I just feel like a new person. So if you're negative on counseling, I mean, I'm sorry with your experience, or maybe you just are blocking yourself from experiencing something that can be amazing. Counseling can be your best friend. Um, when I meet someone in my next, hopefully last marriage, right? One of the things that I have learned is that, and these are the words of JFK, the time to fix the roof is when the sun is shining. I will 100%, if I'm dating someone and it's starting to look like very promising, I would love to have that person and I do counseling while we're feeling good about the relationship. I don't want to wait until it breaks and then go to a counselor. So, and maybe I'm going to learn something different in the next 10, 20 years, but that is something that I have learned at this moment in my life, that counseling can be very helpful in almost any situation, right? So you could get consulting from me, you could be coached by me, and counseling may help another part of your journey, right? You find a good counselor, that's the challenge, finding a good one, but if you find a good one, it can be good. Okay, so now let's get to it and then we'll be done. So now we know what consulting is, we know what counseling is. Now let's look at coaching. Well, at first, the big difference between counseling and coaching is that when you are coached, you are given direction. It's not about you discovering something, it's about you and your coach in collaboration coming up with the play, right? So if you watch basketball, you have all these amazing players and they have a coach. If you watch boxing, no matter who the boxer is, they have a coach. And that coach is yelling moves and plays and giving the direction. They're like a second set of eyes, a second set of ears. And they play a huge role in helping you see things that you may not have seen. And they give you a confidence to take the move, to make the play, to go, go, go. And because you have a good relationship with your coach, you're willing to do it. A coach is going to give you the plays. A coach is going to guide you to do what is necessary. If I'm coaching you, yes, we have a little counselor in us. Yes, there's a moment of consulting. But as a coach, we're going to get with you together. We're going to create a plan. And then you're the player. You're going to work the play. And when the play goes well, that's great. We still evaluate it and then move from there. If the play doesn't go well, that's not so great, but we evaluate it again and we move from there. So I'm going to share with you a pitfall that I experienced, and then I'll close it out when it comes to coaching and having a disconnection. I'm always a martial artist, but years ago, I was competing in a competition as a martial artist. And I know these moves may not make sense to some of you, but I was going up against a guy who, and this was for the gold medal, this was for first place. And this guy that I was competing against only would kick when he's in a fighting stance. He would only kick with his front leg, and he was really good at it. And he would perform this thing called a side kick. It just comes straight out to the side. So if you, and that's like he'll hit you way before. It's kind of like a jab. Like you got to get past that kick in order to get to him. And he was taller than I was. So now we got reach that's working for him, is not looking so good for me. Now, my coach was really good at throwing a kick around this side kick. That was like his, I mean, that's what made him really good at what he did. But that was not my favorite. He loved that move, but it wasn't my favorite move. So I go in there and I'm struggling with this guy. And there's 3 rounds and it's not going so well. And we go into the last round. And my coach had kept telling me to perform that kick that he does well. Every time my opponent picks up that leg and jabs it out at me. Now, if my coach and I could switch, he would have won that match easily because he was confident in that move. I went out there saying, look, I'm going to be a great student. He's the coach. I'm going to go for it. Well, when I went for that move, the next thing you know, I was sitting on my butt and I lost the match. The reason why I bring it up was because I believed in my coach, but I didn't believe in the move that he wanted me to perform. I did not have confidence in that move. The confidence wasn't there, even though I went through with it. You know what I mean? Like I was hesitating a little bit. I went through and it didn't work out for me. And so what I learned from that was I'm going to listen to my coach. And this is as a player, like you as a client. I'm going to listen to my coach, but I'm going to be very honest and transparent with where my confidence is on what he wants me to do. So I'm not saying just nod yes every time your coach is encouraging you to eat a certain way or just do certain things. If you're not feeling good about it, it's important to bring that up and say, is there another way, coach? And together, that coach, if it's a good coach, they will not force you and say, no, just trust in me. Just trust. They won't have you do something that you don't have confidence in. They won't. They will hear you. They will meet you where you are. And then they will give you the play so that you can win. There are people who walk away from what is important to them just to lose weight. They will do things that somewhere in their gut they know isn't right, but they do it anyway. I've heard people tell me that they did Atkins diet and keto diet and this diet and that diet, knowing that it wouldn't be good for them. Something in them said that this is not a good thing, but I'm going to do it because I want the outcome. That's where having a coach comes in. Because remember, a good coach is not going to have you walk down that road knowing that the outcome isn't ideal for you and it doesn't meet your confidence. A good coach, right, is going to meet you where you are, hear your sensitivities, your concerns, and help you make the play. That's a good coach. Now, the holidays can hinder your weight loss if you don't have a goal, if you don't have a second pair of eyes, some ears. You know, when I talk to people in the beginning of December and they say, yeah, let me get through the holidays. I go, that is the worst thing you could do. The best thing you could do is while you're going to war, you're going to be walking through, fields with mines. You want a coach. And guess what? You'll be better off with a coach than without one. And if you have a good coach, which I consider myself a good coach, especially in this space, then I'm not going to say you can't eat the good foods. I'm not going to say avoid this and avoid that. I'm going to help you navigate. And as we collaborate, we'll put you in a position where you win. So some of my clients I haven't talked to longer than normal. They better get in touch with me. Send me an email if you guys are listening to this. Okay, let's get on board. Let's pick up the momentum and let's come out of 2021 feeling so much better. I have some clients this past week that broke amazing like milestones. Unbelievable. And all they did was stay the course. And then there's some people that I worked with a while back and I'm working with now, and they've gained some weight back. So if they really tap into wisdom, they will never let that happen again. They will never let that happen again. And if then you have those clients who they experience dichotomous thinking, and they get caught up in this reality, in their own reality, that what, I've gained some weight, I'm kind of off course, I'm embarrassed to contact my coach. I really don't want to. Oh man, this is not good. And so they think they're going to fix it and then schedule a coach call. Ain't going to happen. Now, I mean, it could a little bit, but no, humble, stay humble and face the music. Okay, we can win at this, and you will win because we're gonna make it work for you. Man, I feel like I was preaching today, and I know that what I just shared is helping somebody, because again, I'm sharing it from the perspective of how we work with people. But there's some good nuggets in what I've shared that will help you be successful, whether you get consultation, coaching, counseling. You can make it work from within and own it. This is the time to shine, man. 2022 is going to be a good one for a lot of people. And a year from then, you're not even going to be thinking about weight. You're going to be healthy. We know that these viruses and some of these health concerns, they're never going away. And we know that people who are the healthiest, not look the most fit, but the people who have better health from within are the ones that are thriving through these challenging times. And last but not least, if you are 300, if you're 400, if you're 500 pounds right now, and you start eating healthier in less than 30 days, you may still be overweight on the outside, but you are a monster, and that's a positive. You are very healthy on the inside, and that's what counts. Amen. All right, you guys, do me a favor and share the good news. If you got questions, my email is there. You can always just reach out with questions. We'll help you out. We'll push you in the right direction. I don't even have a problem sending people to other weight loss programs. My goal is to figure out what's going to work best for you and put you on path to doing what is best for you, and to support you with what we believe will be best for you. Okay, so the last thing, I said that, but I'm going to say it again. Don't put off till tomorrow what you can do right now. Listen to your gut. Until the